We as Americans spend more money on healthcare than any other nation in the developed world, and our health is the worst of any of the nations in the developed world. And so we have to say, why on earth is that? Spending more money, getting the worst result. Something's really wrong at a core level here. And it's what we put in our mouth every day that has the most effect on us.
Welcome back to the Sunshine Cafe. I'm Lisa Roars, your host, and hey, thanks for joining me today. I'm here just to pour some positive back into your day with practical tips and stories to encourage and inspire. So let's dive in.
Hey friends, welcome back to the Sunshine Cafe. I'm Lisa Roars, and I'm not quite 100%. But one of the things about podcasting is that I have made a commitment to you to put a new episode out every single week, no matter how I feel. And this is one of those weeks that I'm definitely not quite 100%. But I hope you'll forgive my weak voice and instead focus in on the amazing content we have. And I recorded this amazing interview with my guest a few weeks ago, so I was definitely a lot more strong then. Last week in episode 88 was our kickoff to the Hidden Health Hazards series, and I covered all of the crazy things that are in our air that we breathe in every day and don't even realize it. That was Hidden Health Hazard number 1. Well, this week is Hidden Health Hazard number 2, and you're not going to want to miss it because you're going to have a chance to meet the amazing Cherie Calbom. She's affectionately called the Juice Lady, and for good reason. She will open our eyes this week to the hidden health hazards that are lurking in our food. Let me just tell you just a little bit about this amazing soul, and then we'll dive into the interview. Cherie Calbom holds an MS in whole foods nutrition and is a certified nutritionist. She has somehow, and I have no idea how this is even possible, but she's somehow written over 35 best-selling books, including the iconic Juicing for Life, and she's sold more than 3 million copies worldwide. She's been a guiding force behind the fresh juice movement, advising celebrities and speaking across the global stage and inspiring who knows how many, but probably millions of people to restore their health and live with greater energy. You're going to love her as much as I do. So let's dive into this great conversation.
Welcome back to the Sunshine Cafe. I'm Lisa Roars, your host, and I am so extremely honored today to have a very special guest with us. Cherie Calbom is a force for good, and I know you're going to be encouraged by her story. So without any further ado, Cherie, want to welcome you to the Sunshine Cafe.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. It's so much of a privilege to be with you. And I was just saying, I love your name. I love Sunshine Cafe. It's so uplifting. And we're here to uplift people today with stories. Everybody loves stories. And I think mine is not the beginning, but the ending.
Yes, yes. Well, I am familiar with your story, but not everyone else is. And let's maybe start back into your maybe early 20s, your early young adult years when I know you had a couple of events in your life that really changed the trajectory. God used these 2 events to really change the trajectory of your life. And that was part of the reason you've written all these books and all the things we mentioned in your bio. So could you pack up and share with us a little bit of those challenges you faced in that following that attack from your early 20s and how that maybe impacted your health and your life perspective?
Yeah, I think I'll start at the beginning before
Sure.
the attack and let everybody know I was very sick. I had chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. And I went to doctors. They didn't know what to do. It was so discouraging. Anybody who has that knows it's just a miserable set of conditions. The fibromyalgia makes you ache all over. The chronic fatigue syndrome, I felt like I had the flu every day of my life. Swollen glands, low grade fever, so tired. I just wanted to sleep all the time, get up, sleep 12 hours and get up tired. And I thought, this is ridiculous. I'm in my 20s. My whole life is ahead of me. I want to be married. I want to do all these things. I don't want to be sick. This is awful. So I prayed and went to a health food store, talked with people there. I did get some answers that I didn't get from doctors. So they said, what are you eating? Right? My diet was horrible. I loved fast food and junk food. I was a sugaraholic. I hated vegetables. I didn't eat them. but rarely, and they were tucked into something. No wonder I was sick. And so I determined, after hearing about juicing, I was going to do something about it. So I jumped in with a 5-day juice fast, and on the 5th day, my body expelled a tumor this size. This is of a golf ball with blue blood vessels attached that look like somebody'd cut them with scissors, and 4 or 5 of them. I was like, "Oh my goodness, what is this?" Get rid of it. Because I was young and I didn't have it tested, but I've looked at pictures numerous times online, and it was definitely a tumor, no missing that. And I went back, so I'm jump ahead and then jump back. I went ahead later and got a Master's of Science degree in Whole Foods Nutrition, and I made my thesis, Nutrition and Cancer, and I found out what those blue blood vessels are. It's known as angiogenesis, and that's the growth of blood vessels to a tumor defeated. That's its gravy train. Keep it going. But I also learned there are phytonutrients in vegetables like celery, and especially the celery leaf that has apigenin and luteolin that cut off that angiogenesis, cut off those blood vessels. There are some in radishes and especially radish leaves, all of your cruciferous vegetables. It goes on and on. God has given us a beautiful array of vegetables and fruit that are healing. Food is our medicine. It's been given to us by God. And when people follow his plan of eating his food, amazing things happen. So anyway, the next morning, I thought the next morning I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be healthy. I got rid of that thing. My mother had died of cancer when I was 6 years old. And I thought, wow, I'm following in her footsteps, and I got rid of it. So this is it. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to be well. I wasn't. I wasn't well the next day. I was pretty much the same as I was the day before. And that's when I realized, okay, I must be on a journey. Something major happened. So I must be on a good journey. I better stick with it. So I added in foods, but very strict, mostly vegetables, salads, steamed vegetables, soups, smoothies, and of course, my vegetable juices. I added in a little bit of ancient grain like brown rice and um, not hardly any animal protein, good fats. Um, and that was my diet. And I stuck with it for 3 months with the ups and the downs. Days that I thought, maybe I'm getting a little better, and days where I thought, I'm getting a little worse. What's going on? Well, my body was detoxing, it was cleansing, healing. When that process takes place, we have ups and downs. But one morning I woke up and thought, oh, somebody gave me a new body in the middle of the night. I felt fabulous. I felt like jogging. I couldn't even walk around the block before that many days because I was just too tired. And so, I thought that's a great cure. We think in Western when we think about Western medicine, Western healing, cures are what we think about. You do this, you take 2 of these, and then you get well, and you're cured, and you go back to your life. And that's how I saw it. I was cured. This was like this fabulous treatment, and I decided to go from Colorado, my dad's house, back to Southern California, back to my lifestyle, back to my friends, back to what they did. They went out for cheeseburgers and fries. They went out for pizza and beer. They went out for fried chicken. And I thought, I can go along. I couldn't. My symptoms started coming back, and that scared the living daylights out of me. And I always say, it's not worth it. I had one client that I worked with that had MS, and we worked with her diet, got her symptoms all cleaned up. She didn't have any more MS symptoms. One day, a relative came over with this great wine and said, "Oh, you've just got to have a little glass. So delicious. You got to try it. It won't hurt you." She was like, "No, no, no." And he finally talked her into it. And she said her symptoms started coming back, and it just scared the living daylights out of her because she'd worked so hard to get where she was. And she said to me, it's a slogan I kept, nothing on earth tastes as good as good health. It's just not worth it. Some people get away with this stuff, right? You look around and you see what they're eating and you think, how are they getting away with that? Maybe they aren't. Maybe, some crisis is just around the corner for them regarding their health. Maybe they are, we don't know. But if you're in a place where you're looking to heal your body, you probably can't get away with cheating, right? You've got to be strict. And the light bulbs came on for me. This has got to be a way of life for the rest of your life. The juices, the smoothies, lots of vegetables, main course salads. I do have some animal protein now, not a lot, and lots of vegetables in many forms, lots of soups, healing soups. It's a path of life, and I can say follow it because it has huge rewards.
Yes, you don't even know how bad you were feeling until you start feeling good. And then your regular sense of normal, you start realizing was so much worse than how good you could feel, right? And
Yeah.
I really like how you bring out the fact that our healing is not linear. We're going to have some good days, some bad days. We might expel a tumor one day, and we might feel, as we're detoxing, a lot worse. And then I think that's where sometimes people give up and they stop doing the protocols because they think it's making them worse, when actually it's the process your body's going through to just get the toxins out of it.
Yes, I've had so many people ditch their journey, and I just had an intuitive sense you're almost there. You're just, like, just ready to cross over that hill. You're right at the door. Don't give up now, and never give up. But people have crises that come in their lives, I've had people lose their pet, lose a family member, and they just throw everything out the window and go back to all their junk food, and all their symptoms come back.
Mm.
None of it is worth it. So I always say create a list of healthy comfort foods.
Mm.
And when you're in a crisis, go to that list. So, maybe we wouldn't often eat a big bowl of mashed potatoes, but that's a comfort food for me. So that's not gonna kill you or cause your symptoms to go totally wacko. Might raise your blood sugar a bit, but, or maybe it's a whole grain pasta, or brown rice or green rice or different there's so many gluten-free pastas now like kamut, and so maybe you go with that. But get your list of acceptable comfort foods, and when you're in a crisis, go to that list.
Mm.
So often people can't even think straight. They tell me, like, I'm in a crisis, and they grab the first thing, and it's usually just terrible junk, and then it just throws your whole body for a tailspin.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd say overall, you really need to replace those comfort recipes that you were raised on from your childhood, the ones that were not good for your system, but they're
Right.
comfort because they're known. I think you need to replace those recipes and start experimenting with a bunch of new recipes. And we did this just recently. We did a 2-week low acid diet plan. And those 2 weeks introduced me to foods I have never had, like papaya. For whatever reason, up here in Minnesota, we just don't grow a lot of papaya. So, I introduced myself to all kinds of foods and recipes that I love. And now I've got new go-to recipes that have taken the place of the things that I would typically go to just because I didn't know what else to make.
I hear you. And scout out too restaurants that have something good, organic, and a good dish that you can have because when you're really busy and you're really tired and you wanna go get something, but you do not wanna go through a fast food place and get a burger and fries or some other awful thing.
Exactly.
Have a restaurant, that you can go to, it's good, and you can get some food to take out that's good for you and good for your family. And we have our list of those places too. There aren't a whole lot of them, but there are enough close to our house that, like, we can head up there and get
Yeah.
dinner
When
also.
you want a little something a little outside of the four walls of your own home.
Right, or you're just so busy
Yeah.
and so tired and you're coming home late.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you have a really interesting story. God has really done some amazing things in and through you. And I think a lot of that spurred from that healing you were just talking about, from the fibromyalgia and all the tiredness that you were feeling through introducing yourself to vegetables. And I'm right there with you, my friend. I didn't even really know the difference between a vegetable and a carb and proteins and all those things until I started researching it because my parents never taught me. But God has done a lot in and through your life through the healing. But then you also had this quite miraculous healing after that horrible attack you endured. Tell us a little bit about that because it was such a victory about how you overcame what the doctor said you never would overcome.
Yes. I love telling this story because it is triumphant,
Mhm.
really, a triumphant story of amazing healing, and that's our God. And I always tell this story and try to fit it in with my whole juicing program lecture because I want to give people hope. And oftentimes people come to my lectures that don't have hope. Like when I've spoken many times at Truth About Cancer, lots of people come with like a stage 3 or 4 diagnosis, and they've been given discouraging uh, reports and not much hope. And maybe they've been given a death sentence. And I always say, if we're still here, there's hope. There's a God who heals, and never give up. I have a cup. Never, never give up. I think that was Winston Churchill. Never, ever, never, never give up. And we shouldn't, because we have a miraculous God. So here's the story, and here's what happened. It was the 4th of July, many years ago, and I was house sitting for some friends of our family who'd gone to Europe on a cruise. And I'd gone out to a barbecue with friends and watched some fireworks and got home about 11:30, so I got to bed about midnight. And at 3 in the morning, I woke up, and our friends lived about 4 miles from the beach in Southern California. So even in July near the beach, it's cold at night. So I woke up shivering, and it's like, "Oh, what's wrong?" And looked up, and the door was open to the backyard patio. And I rolled over. I was just getting ready to get up and go shut it, thinking, "How did that happen?" And I saw a young man crouched in the corner, shirtless, shorts on, and crouched there. And my mind was like, "No, this isn't happening." Close my eyes. Maybe I'm seeing things, open them again. No, he's still there. And then with me wrestling around, instead of running out that door, which was wide open, and he could have made a straight beeline for it, he decided he was going to kill me and told me that. And so he leaped up off the floor. He had this small piece of pipe that the detective said they use those for smoking dope. Has a little bowl at the end. It's plumbing, but it's perfect for them for what they want. And he started beating me over the head with that pipe. And it things like that happen so fast. It's like big time action movie in your own life. So I don't know how my hand got up there, but my right hand did. It was to protect my head. What the neurosurgeon said, obviously, I did. Well, it was this right hand that took horrible, horrible abuse. Um, so anyway, and I'll tell you about that in a moment, and herein lies the miracle. But, during that struggle, I rolled off the bed onto the floor, and we still continued struggling with that pipe, and it flew out of our hands at some point, and that's when he choked me. He said, "Now you're really dead," and I felt my spirit leave my body, and all the accounts of near-death experience is true. You feel your spirit come out of your body. It's like a pop, a burst out of your body. You feel your body letting go of life. Your body fluids leave. You know you're dying. I knew I was dying, and I said, "Father, receive me into your hands. I'm coming home." And then I felt like I was traveling very, very quickly. Like it seemed like the speed of light. And I could see some little twinkle lights, it looked like in the distance. And I thought, I'm on my way. And it was very peaceful. I was very, very much at peace, like wrapped in a velvet black blanket or something. It was not frightening at all anymore. And then all of a sudden, I came to, and I'm all the way out the room, out the door, across the patio, and all the way down the dog run, which was, I call it the dog run, it's the side of the house at the gate that would lead to the front yard in the street. And I'm hanging on to the gate, and I keep passing out, and then I'd struggle and crawl up and scream, and then I'd pass out. And one of the neighbors heard me, and she knew me and yelled out the window, "Cherie, is that you?" And I said, "Yes, somebody tried to kill me," and then I passed out again. So her husband came down and got me into the house, called the police, called the ambulance, and the next thing I know, I wake up and I'm in the hospital, and it's about 3:30 in the morning, and I have severe injuries. So the nurse told me they shaved the whole top of my head. I just had some bangs left in the front, and they drew a road map to she said she held it up to all the wounds, cuts, and part of my scalp in the back was torn off. So, road map to my head, but the worst was my hand. So my hand was really, really injured. These 2 knuckles that we see here weren't there. They were bone powder and fragments. They had been crushed completely. So, and then the ring finger was almost torn off. It hung by a tiny little piece of skin. That was a miracle that we even got it to the hospital. They could sew it back on if they have it, but if it waits too many hours and they hadn't taken it, then I wouldn't have had this finger. And then my hand was split open clear down the middle, and part of my hand was just hanging to the side. So I could see deep into the total inside of my hand because it was just hanging off. So it just so happened that the top hand surgeon of Orange County, California, came into the hospital. He was scheduled to come in for something at 6:30, and they snagged him and got him to work on my hand. So it was 2 hours he worked on it, and he said, "There wasn't a whole lot I could do." He said, "I put in 3 pins to hold your hand together and sewed everything up." He said, "You'll never use that hand again. It's so badly destroyed." They built a cast. It had to be looked like out of Star Wars. It had to be a unique cast. It had a little tower, I call it, with a little circle, and these 2 fingers hung from that little circle on the top of the tower of the cast with rubber bands. It was jerry-rigged uniquely for me, and I thought, "I look like something out of a horror show." I had black eyes. The interior of my eyes, I had no whites. It was all red. You know, when you get an eye injury or even if you lift something too heavy, sometimes a blood vessel can burst and your eye will get red. Well, everything had burst on my eyes. They were all red. I had no whites left. I had no hair on the top of my head. I had a big scratch, great big scratch, probably from the pipe down the side of my face, and I had this cast. And I'm young and single, and I'm thinking, "I look like Frankenstein's bride." This is like this is like the worst thing I can even imagine. I can't even imagine going here. So
But you were alive. But you were alive. You had life. God saved you from that moment.
he did. So a maintenance guy came into my room, scrubbing the floor and looked up and said, "Were you hit by a truck?" He was serious. He said, "Well, it felt like it." So anyway, now began my journey of healing. And several months, quite a few months after my hand, had been worked on, through surgery, I went back to see that doctor. I'd had periodic visits with him, but this time he was assessing where are we going with this hand? And he said, "I can't even go in and put in plastic knuckles. You're in such bad shape." My hand was very swollen. It looked like a blob, like just a great big red blob of, inflamed tissue. And he said, um, it won't even work to do plastic knuckles." Again, he said, "You'll never use that hand again. Um, we're just hoping someday to get that swelling down." I'm wondering if I'm even living for the rest of my life with this cast on. I went home. I was staying with a cousin and his wife, and I went back to their home so incredibly discouraged. It was like, "Dear Lord God, where do I stand with you on this?" So that's exactly what I asked him. "Please tell me, am I going to be handicapped? I mean, is that part of your plan to be handicapped for the rest of my life? Do you plan to heal me? What is your plan for me?" And left it there. And at 5 the next morning, I heard audible, the most beautiful voice. It'd be the voice of an angel. sounded like a female voice, saying, "Cherie, look at your hand." And I'm doing this. The cast is off. It was a removable cast. It's off, and I'm doing this. Prior to that, to do like a quarter of an inch, the pain was so severe, I would just be sick. And now I'm doing this. And then
And just
I
real quick for those who are audio only on this podcast, she's just wiggling her fingers up in the air. So that's, I mean, the doctors who said she was never going to be able to move that hand or work with that hand, and now she's all of a sudden wiggling her fingers. Okay.
yeah. And then I was told, same voice, audible, your hand is going to go back to where you were, hardly able to move it, but day by day, you will get better and better and better and better until there will come a day where your hand will be fully functional, fully useful, and no more problems. And that's where I am today.
You had almost like an insight, a foresight to what your hand was going to be, with the then assurance that it's going to go back to feeling not so good, but then it's going to come back to fully restored.
Yes. And God reformed the knuckles. What he took from bone powder and fragments, of course, he spoke the world into being. Why can't he speak my hand back into being, right?
Mhm.
His knuckles are a little bit smaller than the knuckles on the other side because the doctor did say he removed some of the bone fragments and stuff, cleaned it out. So they're a little bit smaller. God worked with what he had. Jesus worked with what he had, but I have a fully functional hand. They also told me, "You'll probably get arthritis in that hand down the line." Oh, no, I've never, ever had that.
Wow.
Never had pain, never had problems in this hand, and I always say to my hand, "You never will." Barbara Levine wrote a book, Your Body Believes Every Word You Say. So it is extremely important that we tell it what it is supposed to do and what we want
Mm.
it to do, and because it believes. And what, they found the mind and body connection is extremely strong. And so that's where faith comes in. If you're hoping, believing, and praying for something, then don't go back the other way and say, "Oh, I'm never gonna get over this," or, "I'll never get over my cancer, or my hand will never be healed," my whatever. Speak to your body, "I'm being healed. I'm getting better." And that's what I said to my hand because I was so hopeful after that dramatic experience. I couldn't see, but I could hear the angel talking to me. So I just knew. And so every day I would say to my hand, "We're getting better." Every day we're getting a little bit better. And I think I needed to be healed that way because I've told so many people, speak that way to your body. And in fact, many times, like I had an injury last year, a big knee injury, I fell on my knee, and it was just before our Greek island cruise. And I hobbled all the way through that. But I kept speaking to my knee every day, "We're going to be 5 or 10% better." Because I had faith for 5 to 10%. So whatever you have faith for,
Mm.
say that, claim that, believe that. So if it's 10%, 15%, and I often put deadlines on it, like, in 2 days, we're gonna be 5% better, or we're gonna be this percent better, because my body hears it. And your body will do its best to get in line with what you're telling it and what you're saying and what you're believing.
Mm.
But in the end, it's God's power. It's very important that we cooperate. And I should say too, all through this journey of healing my hand, my head, everything, I cooperated by not going to junk food,
Mm.
but doing my best to eat healthy. Even when I could not really use my right hand, I learned to juice with my left. I learned to do a lot one-handed. I still juiced even when I had to shove that produce through the juicer. Now I have the beautiful Nama where you put all the produce in the upper chamber and it does all the work for you. How I would have loved to have that. But you do what you can, and I didn't go out for junk food. I didn't go out to, uh, comfort my soul with bad stuff that took me
Yeah.
back to childhood.
Yeah.
I thought, "I need every ounce of healing nutrients I can get right now to heal up everything, including totally exhausted adrenals." When you go through something like that, your adrenals are just totally depleted, and they need lots of vitamin C, they need protein, and of course, a cornucopia of other nutrients as well. So I thought, I'm going to feed as best I can, right down to the cellular level, all that I can do. And then I found an MD in Southern California who was known for healing his broken bones through nutrients, broken bones that weren't healing. And so I went to him and he prescribed a whole line of vitamin, mineral supplements for healing bones. So I did that as well. So I always say, do our part. We pray and we trust, and God does the rest.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, his healing power.
It's so true. I love your story, Cherie. I just love it. Well, given that you were such a junk food lover when you were younger, what motivated to keep going with the juicing when you were going through those difficult healing days?
I never wanted to go back because I never forgotten how sick I was,
Okay.
just feeling so tired and like I had the flu and fevers. And just I hate having the flu anyway. I just hate
Yeah.
feeling like that, and I never ever wanted to go back. And when I saw that those foods quickly took me back to
Mm.
feeling that way, I just thought, I cannot do with that. I'm sure I'm like many people. I tried to see how much I could get away with.
Right.
Everybody does. You have just, 2 bites of this, can I have 1 bite? I mean, usually turns into 3 or 4 if you have 1, but I always tried, how much can I get away with? And I started learning, I can't get away with this. I probably can't get away with much of anything,
Yeah.
right? I just
Yeah. Gotta listen to your body to understand what it needs. And I like to refer to the mind body relationship as kind of like a dance partner. Like you have to be able to dance with your body and you have to listen to it. You have to move together in order to live your best life and to feel well.
yes. So I have one more part to the story I have to tell you
Yes.
'cause a miracle. So in the hospital, the detective said to me, "Tell me how you got from where you landed." We saw a big puddle of blood. We found part of your scalp there. It was by the door where you landed. And then we found a puddle of blood out at the fence where you were screaming for help. But there were no drops of blood all the long journey in between. And he said, "That's not possible." He said, "You had a bad head wound, part of your scalp missing, and scalp wounds are known to bleed profusely. So you would have had drops of blood all along that way. And why didn't you?" I'm like, I have no idea. I don't even know how I got out to that fence. I just know I left my body in there. I was heading somewhere else, and I came back to my body out at the fence. So that puzzled me for years. But one night I had a dream. It was so real. It was like I was in the dream. I saw Jesus walk into the room where I was lying on the floor, and it looked very dead. And he picked me up and he did CPR. It was like his mouth was over my nose and mouth, and he blew very hard into my body, and I saw arms and legs shoot out like boom, like an electric shock coming to life, and I saw him carry me out and prop me up on the fence, and he said, "There was no blood because you bled on me."
Oh my goodness.
I told that story on Sid Ross at Supernatural, and Sid said to me, "Well, it's good enough for me."
Absolutely good enough
I
for me too.
I have no other explanation. We have a miracle working God if we only will just reach out. So I just say to anybody listening, no matter what you've got or beliefs you have or no belief, or you're questioning, you're searching, give Jesus a try because it is a miracle working God, a miracle working Jesus that does things that'll blow your mind, truly blow your mind. And I can hardly wait. I hope you hear testimonies of people who heard this story today and say, "Wow, I gave it a try and this happened for me." So
Absolutely. I hope
give
so too. I hope so too, Cherie. I think as a society, we tend to put God into a very, very tiny box and a tiny box as if he is incapable of doing big things. And like you said earlier, he created this whole world. He breathed life into human beings and animals and created the vegetation and the landscapes, and of course, he can handle whatever problems we are dealing with. He is a big God.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm learning to just say it. Here's what the issue is, my problem, and then let it go and trust and just wait. Wait and see. We're such an instant, like, I want it right now. I want it right now all the time. On top of instant, I'm what they call in the Myers-Briggs a judgment person, a J. I want it done now, right? And for my husband's perception, he's more, let's look at it from all angles. We'll wait days. No, I want it done now.
Yeah.
So, it's much harder for me to wait and to trust and to take a deep breath and sit back and say, "All right, I'm waiting. I'm gonna wait for you. I'll do my part, whatever I know to do to help myself or to help the situation. The rest is up to you." And then to wait.
Yeah.
It's hard and it pays off every single time. It
Every
pays.
time. Oh, well, throughout the course of the years that have spanned between then and now, you have used your story to help so many people and to encourage and inspire so many people. And you also have put that encouragement and inspiration onto the pages of many, many books. Actually, more than 35 books now, right?
I have, yes. And in many of them, I tell this story in the beginning, story of hope. So some of my books are have been bestsellers. Juicing for Life sold over 2 million copies. It's an A to Z guide. So you look up what ails you, from acne to cancer to chronic fatigue to heart issues, diabetes, and so forth. And I have the juices, the recipes, and the nutrients in there, and the lifestyle changes that you can make. Um, and I've written The Anti-Inflammatory Diet, The Souping is the New Juicing book. I have a lot of recipes and tips to help people find their healthy path. So check out my books. Go to juiceladyinfo.com. They're all up there. And of course, they're on Amazon. And, if you're just looking for your path, like, give me something to follow. Um, Get one of my books and especially like Juicing for Life or the Juice Lady's Guide to Juicing for Health. It's going to give you a path to follow. And it works. It really works. When we do our part, and sometimes you have to be pretty strict when you're trying to turn your own biochemistry around and it's pretty unhealthy or it's, that you're just not doing so great. You need to be pretty strict. But as you do that, you can turn that ship, I call it, turn that big ship around and get yourself going in a new direction. And when you feel good, oh my goodness, you don't want to lose that. So you want to
Exactly.
stay on your path.
Yeah, it's so true. So true. And yeah, it makes sense that you have to be strict to make up for all of those years that you didn't give your body the nutrient that you need. So it makes sense. You have to be strict for a while to dig yourself, as I like to say, dig yourself back out of the hole that you
Yeah.
might have, whether knowingly or unknowingly, put yourself into. So, yeah, but for a time of strictness for the rest of your life to feel amazing and the money that you'll save from not having to go to doctors, the times, the headaches, the worries, it's so worth it to just turn your life around with good eating, good juicing, good nutrients.
So worth it. Every step of the way, it's worth it. And this is our real key, food as medicine to change a culture.
Yes.
We start doing our part, sharing it with those around us, we can affect a culture change. And I believe we're right at that point of culture change. Lots of people are waking up. Lots of people are interested, like wherever you go. So not only are you helping yourself, but you can be helping other people too.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
and I know you're doing some things locally and you're doing some things in your home, but you have some new endeavors underway that I would love to share with the audience too. And we'll make sure we'll put your links in the show notes as well so they can see those. But tell us about some of these new endeavors you're involved with.
I'm so excited about working on a national level. I have been invited onto the MAHA Action Healthy Foods Task Force, and my committee is the Seeds and Oils Committee. And we are looking at getting the unhealthy oils and fats out of the American diet.
Oh, thank
There's
you. Could I just say that again? Thank you for the work you're doing with that.
oh, What a pleasure. They're snuck in everywhere. Go to your health food store and you try to buy a jar of healthy, like Vegenaise or mayonnaise. There's an unhealthy seed oil in there. You just cannot find it without. Try to buy health food store crackers. It's in almost all of them. Mary's, I think, is one of the few brands I found with no seed oil in it. Try to go buy a salad dressing. There's like maybe 1 or 2 brands on the market. The rest are seed oils, and that's at a health food store. Go out into the market. Oh my goodness. But, at fast food restaurants, they're cooking those fries in this nightmare oil that has been at to high temperatures and used over and over and over again. Talk about, I call them artery torpedoes. And this stuff is so damaging for the arteries, and it's a silent killer. They don't know what's happening. So when your artery gets damaged, one MD that I read said it looked like maybe because he's done a lot of surgeries and work, and he said it looks like somebody's taken sandpaper to the inside of your artery. It's all rough and maybe even bleeding. It can be those oils, it can be other things too, sugars and it can even be additives to foods, but the oils are known to do that, these bad oils. Well, what's going to come over for a wound, but something like a scab? Because if you did that to your skin, you would get a scab on your arm or your hand. Well, in your artery, you're going to get something like a scab, a little mound, and that is going to be with cholesterol in it. Well, it's there for a reason. It's there because there was a wound to start with. This doctor said if there was never a wound, it would slide right on through. The cholesterol would right through your artery and never be a buildup.
Mm.
You wouldn't have the heart disease, the myocardial infarction scare possibility. You wouldn't have all of this problem. And so I'm so proud of Steak and Shake chain in Florida. They switched the bad oil to beef tallow, and that scared people. Beef tallow. People have said to me, why would they go to beef tallow? I thought that was horrible. I thought that would kill us. It's the opposite. Beef tallow is a saturated fat, meaning it doesn't have any double bonds in its chemistry. The double bonds break easily and create free radicals and other toxic byproducts. It doesn't have that, so it's a more durable oil. It has a smoke point. Smoke point is a real key thing to know about. It's when your oil starts smoking, and that's when it breaks down and degrades to toxic stuff. It doesn't have that, so it's much more durable and survives a high-fat fryer that can go up to about 400 degrees. That's its smoke point. So
Mhm.
it is much better than the bad oils. If
Right.
we could get all of the fast food restaurants just there to switch out that bad oil that they use all the time to go to beef tallow, we would see a lot of healthcare costs come down, a
Mhm.
lot of heart attacks be stopped, lives saved. There's some just basic things we can do, but I'm very excited to be part of this movement of making people aware because RFK Jr. said in one interview, I'm not here to take away your burgers and fries. I'm not going to take them away from you, but I want you to be aware of the consequences of
Yeah.
eating that and of eating it, especially cooked in the worst way.
Right.
W We're here as a task force, a team to wake people up, um, to look at the foods you eat, and that everything we put in our mouth, including, like, cereals, morning cereals for little kids with all those dyes in them, all known to be carcinogenic, all the different colors. There's no artificially colored
Mhm.
dye that's good or
Right.
that you're gonna squeak by on. Red dye number 40 we know has been banned now, but the rest of them are still hanging around. And so getting that out of your diet, that would be another really big one. Boy, if we took those 2 just right there, we would turn this ship of sickness around because 60% of our nation has 1 diagnosed condition, 40% have 2.
Isn't that crazy?
70% are obese or overweight, 70%.
70%. That's crazy. Couple things I want to just mention. First of all, the beef tallow, McDonald's and those kinds of fast food restaurants, they used to use beef tallow. And so this isn't a unique concept, but once we started subsidizing corn and subsidizing all of the seed oil manufacturing, that's when they switched over because, of course, the almighty dollar drives all of their decisions. So they switched over to a cheaper oil, which is, yes, cheaper, but also really toxic for the human body. So we really just want to switch those fast food restaurants back to what they used to make when, frankly, the French fries tasted a lot better and they didn't coat our mouth with that horrible greasy taste. So that's one thing. And the other thing with the dyes that you were talking about, these companies are already making these products for other countries without the dyes that are so toxic, and yet they're still serving those dyes to Americans.
That's
So
right.
you and the work that you're doing with MAHA, Make America Healthy Again, and RFK is going to help us get rid of those dyes for our country. So our country, the Americans, fellow Americans, and our neighbors and family can stop getting sick from these things that they don't even know they're eating.
That's right. Silent killers, I call them. We don't even know. They taste fine, they look fine, and we don't get an immediate reaction. It's not like you have a spoonful of that cereal and you suddenly feel sick or you feel like
Right.
you're gonna die or you eat that French fry. These are silent killers. They build up in your system day after day, and you get a little worse and a little worse, but it's like cooking that frog. And you start off with the temperature just really low, and the frog is like swimming in the bath and everything's great. And then it turns up slowly until the frog is dead a long time later. And that's what's happening with us. We, as Americans, spend more money on healthcare than any other nation in the developed world. And our health is the worst of any of the nations in the developed world. And so we have to say, why on earth is that? Spending more money, getting the worst result, something's really wrong at a core level here. And it's what we put in our mouth mostly. There's external things, air, soil, and water, chemicals too, but it's what we put in our mouth every day that has the most effect on us. And if we can clean that up and start eating a clean diet, all the bad oils out. And what are the bad oils? I should just tell everybody because you may be wondering. Because some people think, oh, maybe grapeseed oil is okay. They've heard that. No, it's not. Canola is not okay. All of these seed oils, and there's a whole list of them: corn, soy, safflower, sunflower, canola, which is rapeseed, grapeseed oil, sesame seed oil. Those are not good oils because here's why: they have double bonds. I'm going into biochemistry. Double bonds break easily and create toxic byproducts under heat or processing or free radicals. Those damage your cells. What are good oils? You have a small list, easy to remember: coconut oil, avocado oil, um, and olive oil, and macadamia nut oil is okay too.
Okay.
That's your list. Don't take anything else. And shop with a magnifying glass.
Yes.
Granted, that is small now and usually in white, right? Don't want you to read it, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, so shop with a magnifying glass and see what's on the label of the stuff you're buying. You may be just shocked
Yeah.
about how many oils are in all the things that you think are good. And then the animal fats that we were told, oh, these are horrible. These are going to kill you. The beef tallow, the butter, the ghee, even lard are okay, especially if you get pastured. If you get these fats from pastured animals that have had a clean diet, a clean life, and then you've got clean animal fats, there's your list. It's simple: 4 oils and about 4 animal fats. And if we stick to those, we're going to be in much better shape.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Couple quick things I want to mention for the listeners. Pay attention to your olive oil and do a little research to find a good source. I will actually put a couple good source links in these show notes because my husband and I, our family, has really researched to find it. Because in restaurants, actually asked the other day we were out, and I said, "Can you tell me what's in your olive oil? Is it pure olive oil?" And the waitress was so sweet. She was a very young gal. She said, "Let me go check. I'll go find out." She went and looked at the label and she came back to our table and she said, "It's mostly canola oil, so that's good. And it has some olive oil too." And I'm like, oh goodness. So yeah,
Okay.
not good. So we actually end up we source, we find a good olive oil and then we bring it with us when we go to restaurants so we can put good olive oil on our salad. So it's just sometimes you just have to do that. And
Yes.
a lot of people worry about, oh, it's going to be so expensive to eat grass-fed beef or pasture-raised animals or organic foods. But I really want people to take a moment and think about how much money you spend on medicines, on doctors, on your insurance. It's hidden. It's kind of because it comes right out of your paycheck. You don't necessarily think about it. But we're spending so much money on insurance and doctors and copays and medicines. If you took all of that money and just instead spent it on good food, you could avoid the hassle. So use that money for the good medicine, and that comes from good food.
Oh, you're right on target, right on target. Yes, I hear that all the time. "Oh, it's too expensive." It's too expensive not to, really. And yes, you are so right. You pay up front for good food, otherwise you pay at the back end for illness. And how much do you spend for over-the-counter stuff? From flu and colds and stuff for pain, even just that. And then the doctor and the copay, just like you said, and maybe there's a medication you need that your doctor prescribes, and how much copay do you pay for that? And on it goes, and sick days, and maybe you don't always get paid for all of the sick days that you have to take off, and so maybe you're losing money at that point as well, and then just pain and suffering and misery and not getting things done that we wanna do because we feel crummy or
Yeah.
we don't sleep well, so it all pays off in the end to spend it up front.
Just imagine, for everybody listening out there, just imagine how much God could do in and through you if you felt really great and had great energy and had great sleep and were never sick. Just imagine.
Right. Your brain would be focused. Notice days where you've had a good night's sleep and you've been caring for yourself well. Your brain is focused and you just clip along. You have your little list, or I'm a list person.
Me
You're
too.
just off your list and you're getting it all done. And then you have days where, I don't know, things didn't go so right. You didn't sleep so well. Maybe you ate something you shouldn't have and it just kind of fogged you in, and you're just kind of spinning around and you're not getting stuff done like you should. And you're thinking, oh, what did I accomplish today? Big difference.
Big
Yeah.
difference. Well, I want to be very sensitive to your time, my friend. So before we wrap up, with all the amazing work you're doing for changing the future food supply of our country, I'm so excited about that. If listeners are here and they're paying attention and they want to do something to help, how could they support you in those efforts? How can they contribute?
Oh, first of all, come to my website and sign up for my newsletter. It's free, and you get a little booklet, anti-inflammatory juices that you can download. And I always keep people posted and up to date with what's going on, and how you can be part of it. We will be starting a MAHA challenge for the nation, coming up, but keep in touch, and I'll
Yeah.
let you know. I have a class, a 4-week, juice cleanse class, and you can join in with that and be part of the group and cleanse your body. We're gonna go through all the organs, the colon, the liver, gallbladder, the lymphatic system, the skin and blood, the kidneys and bladder, and how to cleanse the various organs, which juice recipes and soups and salads and different things for different organs. So that's going to be exciting, and I would love to have you join in with that. I have the cover story for Women's World Magazine coming up, um, for the chicken soup, white bean cabbage soup diet.
Wow.
Really works, and, as soon as that hits the stand, I'm going to have that group going for weight loss. It's been a very successful program, and the soup is so delicious. It really, I have to say, I made a huge pot for us, and we loved it. But you don't just eat soup. We have a low-carb, high vegetable meal that you can choose, 1 meal a day, and so it works. So a lot of things are going on, and, come and join. Get on my newsletter, and I'll keep you posted of everything that's happening.
Sounds
And get a juicer, get the Nama, and my code for $55 off is Juice Lady.
Wonderful. I can attest to that. I also have a Nama, and it is a game changer for juicing. So if you have ever looked into juicing and decided you couldn't do it because it was way too much work, it might be because you didn't have a Nama.
I
So,
need
yeah,
Nama.
right. Oh my goodness. Cherie, thank you so very much for your time and just for your wisdom, for your stories, for sharing with us a little slice of your life. We're just so honored to have you here with us today. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, you have a beautiful show and a beautiful spirit. And I pray we hear from a lot of people. I pray you hear from a lot of people that our show today touched their lives in some way.
I hope so too. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Now you know the reasons I love Cherie Calbom so much. Well, I have 8 powerful takeaways for you today, my friends. Number 1, food is either medicine or poison. What you put in your mouth every day has more impact on your health than almost anything else. So choose whole, healing foods, juices, vegetables, soups, and salads to nourish your body at the cellular level. Number 2, healing requires our cooperation. God has the power to heal, but we must do our part. Choosing to skip junk food and fill our bodies instead with nutrient-dense food creates an environment where healing can really thrive. Number 3, your body believes every word you say, so speak life into your body. Say to yourself, I'm healing, I'm improving. Those faith-filled words will align your mind and body with God's promises even before you believe it. Saying it will help train your mind so you can believe it. Number 4, healing is not linear. Don't quit on those hard days because those hard days will come. So expect them. In fact, some days you'll feel like you're even getting worse before you feel better. But don't abandon the journey. Remember, your breakthrough might just be right there, just around the corner. So keep pressing onward, my friends. If you're making good decisions, you know that eventually there will be a good return. Number 5, replace unhealthy comfort foods with healing comfort foods. Because, as I like to say, life is always going to show up. You might be in a time of peace and you might be in a time of quiet, and good for you. Enjoy those days. But life eventually will show up. So again, expect it. Have your go-to list of nourishing meals and snacks, things you really, really love, and also restaurants that you know you can go to when you're short on time and you can't make dinner and you just need a healthy meal. This way, you won't turn back to the foods that made you sick in the first place, but you'll have quick go-to items that you don't have to really think that hard for. Number 6, beware of the silent killers in our food. Now, we're going to dive into this actually quite a bit deeper next week, but let's review some of the key things that Cherie had to say for us. Junk oils, like industrial seed oils, processed ingredients, and sugary snacks, they do not make you sick instantly, not at least at a level you can feel. They build disease slowly, and it slowly does damage internally in your body until one day you wake up with symptoms and it feels like it just showed up overnight, when in fact it's been slowly collecting over time. So don't be fooled by that delay. Instead, live now and make changes now. Learn the safe list of fats and oils so you can use them now as your go-to oils. Things like coconut oil, avocado oil, olive oil, macadamia, clean animal fats, butter, ghee, beef tallow, lard, all of which are best if they come from pastured and grass-fed animals because those animals were meant to eat grass. And most of those big industrial feedlots that are processing thousands of beef every day, well, they're feeding them nothing but corn and grains and nothing that their bodies were intended to eat. So grass-fed is always best. Grass-fed, grass-finished, pastured animals are always best. Avoid the seed oils like canola oil, soy, corn, safflower, sunflower. These are the dangerous little stinkers that cause cellular damage in our body, and they stay in your body. Listen, they can stay in your body for up to 2 years or more. So just avoiding them for the weekend or feeling like, oh, I've been pretty good, I haven't had them for 4 or 5 days. I'm sorry, that's not going to cut it. They've got to go. Find alternatives for your crunchy snack, like potato or sweet potato chips made with avocado oil. Or just change your habit altogether and drop the fried stuff completely. Your future self and your future health will so thank you. Number 7, healing is a way of life and not a quick fix. Ever. Not ever. Unfortunately, I've had to learn this the hard and very painful way. But I am learning my lessons because permanent results, my friends, require permanent change. And your health is worth it. You cannot enjoy anything in life, nothing you work for, none of your friends, none of your family, none of those trips that you have on your calendar, or any of that money you're making in your day job if you don't have your health. Your health is the number one priority and should be the only priority in your life after God and family. This is not about a temporary diet. This is about making you aware of the toxic things that are going into your body that you can choose to change and make a permanent shift toward nutrient-dense, life-giving foods that make you feel better with more energy, have high health, and therefore, all of those future wishes and dreams and achievements that you want to have are yours for decades, and you will be able to enjoy them because you will feel amazing. And then finally, number 8, our last takeaway. Please, my friends, don't ever give up because God is not giving up on you. And whether it's illness or pain or discouragement, don't lose hope. God is still a miracle worker, and partnering with Him, doing your part, and making wise choices and intentional choices will help bring complete transformation for you today and for your future. And that's a wrap on today's episode where we have uncovered the hidden health hazards hiding in the foods we eat. So far we've uncovered the hidden hazards in what we breathe and what we eat. But we have 4 more episodes left in this series, my friends, and next week is going to be amazing. In episode number 90, we're going to get the real scoop on those dangerous fats that we just talked about in our takeaways. And Dr. Chris Kenobi is going to tell us all about them. And trust me, what you'll learn is going to completely change the way you look at the grocery cart and what you order when you go out to eat. More importantly, it's going to empower you in ways you never expected, and you want to be empowered. All right, then in episode 91, we're going to unlock the sleepy secrets of a good night's rest. Who doesn't love a good night's rest? This is going to be with Dr. Vicki Casper because better health starts with better sleep. In episode 92, we're going to pull back the curtain and reveal those hidden dangers in dentistry with my friend, Dr. Tara Carr. And this one's going to definitely surprise you and inform you so you can reclaim your health. And then finally, we're going to wrap up this incredible series with the one and only, the charismatic and so relatable researcher. She's a scientist and professor of brain and cognitive sciences. Dr. Susan Pierce Thompson will join us, and she reveals to us how to harness our freedom so we can truly live healthy, happy, and free. So thanks again for joining, friends, and please make sure you subscribe to this podcast and share it. Share it with your friends. Share it with a friend who's ready to ditch the toxins and live a healthier life, because literally the next 4 episodes could change your life, and I hope it does. I'll see you, my friends, right back here next week at the Sunshine Cafe, and hopefully I'll have a better voice. I'll see you then.